The rain and the rag. The summer days in civil lines were hot and the air seemed to stand still. The birds, too, had forgotten to sing. Geeti, Seema, and Chotu had just finished their afternoon games and stood under the shade of the large mango tree at the end of the lane when a fat raindrop plopped on Geeti's nose. Ow! She said, touching her nose. Then another drop, and another. Within seconds, the sky seemed to break open, bursting like a fat, water filled balloon. The children squealed in delight and scrambled to find cover under the tree. Run! Seema shrieked, but Geeti had a different idea. She jumped up and threw her arms wide, held her head back, and spun around. This is the best! She yelled, tilting her face up to catch the cool drops. After hours of sticky heat, the rain felt like magic. You're silly, Chotu laughed, but he was grinning as he got soaked too. Come on, Seema, stop hiding. It's fun. Geeti called out to her friend, who was trying to shield herself under the small canopy of the tree. Seema and Chotu gave up and ran home, but Geeti kept twirling despite the occasional distant clap of thunder. That's when she saw something strange. Ranu was standing in front of his house, completely drenched, but he wasn't trying to get inside. He was standing there with his mouth open, catching the raindrops on his tongue like a little kid. Ranu? Geeti called out, splashing through a puddle. What are you doing? His face lit up like someone who had just given him the best birthday present ever. I found it! I finally found it! Found what? Geeti was so curious she forgot about the rains soaking through her clothes. Her clothes stuck to her skin and her hair clung to her face. But she didn't care. She had to know what Ranu was talking about. Come on, Ranu said, and before she could ask another question, he ran towards his house, practically bouncing with excitement. Geeti, not wanting to be left behind, ran after him, splashing through puddles and laughing at the rain beat down harder. Geeti had never seen Ranu move so fast. He yanked the door open and slipped inside. Geeti caught up just in time, standing at the doorway, dripping wet and wide-eyed. Ranu, wait! What are you talking about? What did you find? Ranu's eyes gleamed behind his wet, foggy glasses. Come on, you won't believe it. Geeti glanced back, realizing both her friends had disappeared into their houses. The air smelled of wet earth and the rain drummed against the windows. She took a deep breath and slipped inside, leaving little puddles on the clean floor as she walked. Inside the house, everything felt warm and cozy. The walls were lined with bookshelves and soft light filtered through the sheer curtains. There was a faint smell of sandalwood incense in the room. Ranu led her into the living room, where a large gramophone stood, its horn gleaming in the dim light. What is this? Geeti asked, her curiosity growing as she looked around. Ranu didn't answer, moved towards the gramophone and began carefully winding the handle. The metal felt cool and smooth under his fingers. Geeti could hear a soft clicking sound as he wound it up. Wait, Ranu said, glancing over his shoulder. You'll see. Geeti stood by the doorway, watching him, feeling both bewilderment and intrigued. With a satisfying click, the gramophone started to play. A soft, haunting melody filled the room. It was unlike anything Geeti had ever heard before. The music seemed to float around her, making her think of watching the sunset or missing her parents, but in a good way. This is it, Ranu whispered, closing his eyes. This is what my uncle used to play when I was little. I found the record in our attic today. Geeti sat down on the floor next to him. The music seemed to wrap around them like a warm blanket. Outside, she could hear the rain pattering against the windows. But inside, it felt like a magical secret world. It's so different from the songs on the radio, she said softly. It's called a rag, Ranu explained. My father says different rags are for different times of day. This is one for when it's almost evening. How does music know what time is it? Geeti asked, genuinely puzzled. Ranu laughed, a real happy laugh. I don't know, but somehow it does. When I heard the rain today, I knew I had to find this record. It was like the rain was calling for this music. They sat quietly for a while, just listening. Geeti felt peaceful in a way she had never felt before. It was better than any game they had played. Is this what you found? She said softly, as if not to disturb the magic of the moment. Ranu nodded, still focused on the gramophone. I've been waiting for this for so long. His voice was quieter now. It is called Rag Marwa. It's supposed to make you feel happy and sad at the same time. I'm not sure I can explain it in words. Geeti watched him for a moment. Ranu, the boy who had never played games or been a part of the neighborhood mischief, was now completely lost in the music. It was like a different side of him had surfaced. She sat down on the floor next to him, her wet clothes sticking to her skin. But she didn't mind. It's beautiful, she murmured. Ranu nodded without opening his eyes. It is, he agreed, his voice soft. For a few moments, neither of them spoke. The only sound in the room was the soothing, melodic hum of the gramophone. Geeti let her mind wander, and for the first time since arriving in the neighborhood, she felt a deep sense of calm wash over her. It reminded her of peaceful times with her parents. She could hear the rain still pattering against the windows. But inside, in this room with Ranu, everything felt suspended in time, like the world outside had momentarily ceased to exist. Finally, Geeti stood up, brushing the wetness from her clothes. The wall clock chimed, breaking the quietness. It's 6:30, she said, her voice suddenly urgent. As Geeti turned to leave, she glanced back at the gramophone. Can I come back and listen to this again sometime? She asked, her voice tentative. Ranu smiled widely. Of course, you can come anytime. As Geeti ran home through the rain, she couldn't help thinking about the strange, beautiful music. Maybe there was more to Ranu than she had ever imagined. Geeti rushed to the bathroom to change clothes, but despite the hurrying, she was 10 minutes late. Late again? Her grandfather remarked as she entered the dining room. Sorry, Dadaji, Geeti said quietly. Geeti, sorry isn't a magic word you say every time you make a mistake. It's a promise you try better next time. Do you understand? She nodded, but then her excitement bubbled over. Dadaji, did you know there's music that matches every different time of day? And some rags can make you feel happy and sad at the same time? Her grandfather's stern expression softened. Ah, so you've discovered ragas, have you? Who taught them to you? I listened to one at Ranu's house, Geeti replied quickly. Who's Ranu? Her grandfather asked. Mr. Banerjee's son. He's not as quiet as everyone thinks. The colonel smiled to himself. He knew no one could stay quiet around Geeti for long.